Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is the Breaking Free Show, and my name is Marilyn Shannon, and I am delighted to have you all here with us today. I am actually still in Pompano with my mom, so I'm not in the studio. So pardon the sound if it ain't great, but I'm doing the daughter thing. So thank God for that. Thank God for that. Sometimes, you just have to do what you got to do. But we're here, and I'm delighted. I'm done. Hey, how are
Hello,
you?
Marilyn. I'm fine, thanks.
Yeah, you doing all right? I'm done.
Yeah, I need to put the AC on.
You have to do what?
We have to put the AC on.
Oh, really? It's hot?
It's hot.
It's hot here too.
I can imagine.
Oh my goodness, it's hot here. So anyway, glad you're all joining us, and I hope you're all doing well. And I pray that we all just stay well, stay connected, and just get through this. Everybody in the entire world is experiencing this. I don't think there was ever a time in my lifetime or my mother's lifetime, and she's 94, where the entire world was on the same page. So I just pray every day that we get through this, and when we get to the other side, I know that it's going to be a very special day. So with that, I want to just remind all of you that you are more than welcome anytime during the show to please call in at 919-518-9773 right into the studio. And you can also join us in the chat by putting your name, nickname, whatever you like under our video, and you can comment or ask questions and engage with us there. We'd love to have you in any way that you want to come in. And you also can join us on Skype voice. That is not a picture, so it doesn't matter how you look. But by now, I think people don't even care how they look. They're just Zooming and Skyping and all that doesn't matter. So just come in and computers, that's plural, then the number 2K voice. And we'd love to invite you in anyway. So let me introduce to you my guest today, Amanda. Hey, Amanda.
Good afternoon, Marilyn.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing actually really well, knock on wood. I'm in Colorado and it's beautiful. I feel very blessed to live here, and I live right on the river, and so I could just flip my computer around and show you my view. And so I'm self-isolating in my in my little condo on the river in Basalt, Colorado, with my golden retriever
We're
dog,
glad to have you
and
here.
it's just us.
Good. Well, I got a little pond in the backyard, so I can flip myself around too and see some water. So, Amanda, tell everybody about who you are.
Oh, so I'm Amanda Boxtel. The accent is Australian, and I've been here for 30 years, but I think still managed to keep my accent. Um, I'm 52 years old, and I was paralyzed when I was 24. So I've been paralyzed longer in my lifetime sitting than I have standing and walking. But I now walk in a different way with the use of advanced bionic exoskeleton technology. And I utilize that to my advantage to help maintain my range of motion, my flexibility, my ability to bear weight on my limbs, and to have a better quality of life, and to reduce any secondary complications associated with my paralysis. But these last few weeks, Marilyn, I haven't had access to that technology, and I can just feel my body seizing up. This is why I created the program that called Bridging Bionics Foundation. And I can feel my legs stiffening and tightening. You can see I have a therapy mat right behind me, and I try and get on that every day. But it's not enough. It's not the same as walking in a bionic robot.
So, first of all, tell us about the Bionic Robot.
So I worked for a company. I was invited as one of the first paraplegics in the world to test pilot a prototype Bionic Exoskeleton suit for, it was back then called Berkeley Bionics. They've since been rebranded to Exobionics, and they're now out of Richmond, California. And they created the Exo. Back then it was called E-Legs. They didn't have a clinical team. They had engineering geeks who were just amazing that created this robot. And I was really mobile. I was a professional speaker, an athlete. And it was a small world story where they heard that I could speak and I took care of my body. And they thought, okay, let's bring Amanda out to test pilot this device. And no pressure, it was for National Geographic Television. And I had 4 days to master this thing and to stand up independently and walk on my own without any assistance. Now, remember, it was a prototype. And so it
So
wasn't
can I
this.
interrupt you a second?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So because I don't want to forget about the fact that now you can't use it, but I did want to get a picture of
Yeah.
what the history was and what that means to you now, because it's a whole nother story. So first of all, prior to that, what did you do?
Prior to
Yeah,
walking in the exoskeleton.
yeah.
So originally I was a school teacher, and I taught 4th grade many years ago, showing my age now. And then I created after I was paralyzed, which is a story in itself. I'd be happy to share with your audience. Um, I then co-founded a program called Challenge Aspen, which is a recreational program in Colorado that helps individuals with any disability to get back into their life and recreate and to move forward by using recreation as that bridge to regaining life and having fun. And
So,
so I learned to ski again.
oh my
And
goodness. Okay, so
mhm.
were you a teacher after you had been with the paralysis? Were you teaching then when you were?
Well, I was a primary school teacher in Australia prior to I had a skiing accident,
Okay.
and I'll share that with you in a minute if you want.
Yeah,
And
I want to know the
mhm.
timeline, I guess.
Okay, well, let me start from the beginning, and I'll take you through
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
exoskeleton and bridging bionics, the program that I created. Do you want me to
yeah,
do that?
yeah. I want the whole thing.
All right, you've got it. Um, so I was a primary school teacher and I fell in love. I was a typical woman, Marilyn, and I followed my heart to Colorado. And our classes, we taught grade 4, and our classes corresponded. And we all wrote um, handwritten letters. We didn't have email back then, as crazy as that sounds. And we sent cassette tapes back and forth. And then I was invited to meet this class and the teacher, and the relationship grew in the correspondence. And I came over, and I fell in love with not only the place, the mountains, um, the man originally, and but then it just became a part of me and a part of my being. A couple of years later, I learned to ski. I had never skied until I came to Aspen, Colorado. I learned to ski, and I went up on the chairlift for the first time of the day around noon. I was an intermediate kind of average skier. Um, and as soon as I got on the chairlift, I felt as if a wave swept through my body. It was a premonition of sorts, as if I had no business being on the mountain that day. I got off the chairlift and I looked out at the view as though I was looking for the last time. And 2 people tapped me on my shoulder and they asked if I was okay. And I said, I kind of shook it off and I said, yes, I'm fine. I just need to ski down. So, on purpose and to remain visible, I skied underneath the chairlift. I stopped again on the flats and I looked out at the view again as though it was for the last time. I took off, and about 3 yards, 4 yards, I crossed my tips and I did a somersault and I landed on my back. In a split second, I was paralyzed. An electric current zapped through my legs. They crumbled on top of me, and there was nothing. It was as though someone had turned out a light switch. I felt an electric current. It was like a zzz that went through my legs, and then they just crumbled on top of me. And my head was downhill. I was looking uphill. A man in a neon orange suit, as if to signify the emergency of the situation. It was this neon orange suit. It was 1992. He called for help. He said, "I've called ski patrol." Ski patrol came and they asked me, how many fingers do I have up? 2. How many now? 4. What's your name? Where do you live? And all I can remember saying was, I answered the questions, but I said, I can't breathe. I can't feel my legs. I can't move my legs. It was that instantaneous. They very gently uncrumpled my body and held my head so gently and cradled it. And they lifted me onto a backboard and they took me down on a toboggan. I was flown on a flight for life to St. Anthony's Hospital in Denver. And not long after, I think it was a week or so, something like that, a young man strode into my hospital room and he had the white jacket, but his face seemed younger than mine. His face screamed medical student. He had been sent to deliver the news. "Amanda, you'll never walk again." And those words resounded in every cell of my body. And I wanted to prove him wrong. I wanted to prove the doctor wrong. And I wanted to prove God wrong. I wanted to walk out of that hospital. And here I am today, 28 years later, and I'm still sitting in my wheelchair. I don't know if you can see my
Yeah.
wheelchair.
Mm.
And, it's my reality, but I haven't let it beat me. And even though that mountain, Marilyn, robbed me of the use of my legs, didn't rob me of my spirit. And it almost, now I'm a better skier than I ever was before.
How do you
And
ski now? How do you ski now?
I ski I'll send a video that you can
Okay, yeah, please.
post.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
can post later, and it'll show me skiing. But I ski on a monoski, which is a single ski, and I've got a bucket, a seat over a single ski, and I have 2 outriggers on my arms with baby flip skis on the ends, and they help me initiate a turn. And so I whiz down the mountain. I have a need for speed. I
Oh,
love it. It's so liberating. When I go to the top of the mountain, I say a prayer to the wind and I'm free. And I'm dancing again on the snow. I used to be an athlete, the former athletics captain of my school, a sprinter, a runner, but I was a dancer. And I did classical ballet and now I feel like when I ski, I'm dancing.
Amanda, can I ask you a question, honey? And you are beautiful. It is
Thank
just,
you.
it is an honor to be able to talk to you today. And what an angel you are, especially in this time in all of our lives, because so many people are struggling with so many things. with fear, with this, with the virus, with everything. And here you are, sharing so much of what you've been through. So I want to ask you, so you ski. Most people, or a lot of people, or let me talk about me people, petrified to go down the mountain, period. Right?
Mhm.
So are you past fear, or do you just never had fear?
No, I think fear is a very powerful and convincing emotion, and it it can overwhelm when you least expect it. And to conquer my own fears and my own self doubt, I somehow have to find hopefulness amidst the fear. Um, Going back onto the mountain, conquering the fear, and I was white knuckled when I first learned how to ski again. And when I made a right, left, and a right turn and a left turn and a stop, and when I knew that I could have a sense of control, I rocketed to freedom. But it wasn't without fear. And you know, I always think of the acronym FEAR, FEAR, and I probably shouldn't say this on your show, but
You
I
can
I
say
think of
anything
it.
here.
I think of it as someone I heard it once: fuck everything and run. You know, or what is your FEAR? What is your fantasy experienced as real?
That's
And when
right.
it And when I would get to the top of a run that was a double black diamond run filled with bumps, one of the runs on Highlands Mountain in the area is called Moment of Truth. And it was such a great metaphor for me. What is my moment of truth? Double black, steep, moguled, bumped up run. And I thought, what is your fantasy? And experience it real as real. Bring it into you right here, right now. And Marilyn, that's how I've dealt with my life is accepting my reality right now. And it's this acceptance and this dance of with hope, in that acceptance and hope coexist. They must. And that's been my life lesson, in that what I experience right here, right now, I accept is what it is. And it frees me to be hopeful for what the next moment might bring. That next moment could be a minute from now, an hour from now, tomorrow, next week. But everything I do today, right here, right now, prepares me for what I will be tomorrow.
So you focus on being in the now,
Yes,
and because when you're going down that mountain and you're in the now, you're not
you
worried.
have to be.
Yeah, you're not worried about, am I going to break a leg, or am I going to break another? I mean, not my leg. Am I going to break an arm, or my other arm, or I mean, this is what I have left. So you're not thinking.
Yes. And that's what skiing does for you, right? It forces you to be so present and in the moment. And that every turn I inhale and then I exhale and then I inhale, and it becomes a dance. And I'm focused and I'm looking down the hill and I'm doing everything that someone with their arms and their legs and their full able-bodied capability is able to do, but I'm doing it sitting down. But if I bring everything, even if I'm rolling down the street or as I'm with you right here, right now, I'm focused, I'm present. And that's my way of dealing with fear, thinking, okay, it is what it is, Amanda. This is what I'm feeling, but I'm it doesn't have to be that way the next moment from now. And if my acceptance is right here, right now, it does free me to be more hopeful. And I believe you become what you believe, not what you wish for or want. you become what you expect and
Right.
feel in your heart.
Right. You are what you're experiencing in this moment, not the past and not the future.
Right.
That's
And so
that.
I think an element of belief um, is really important,
Mhm. Mhm.
and to understand where that stems from. It's not here, it's in your heart.
Wow. No wonder they wanted you to speak. Everybody would want you to speak about anything that they could get you to speak about.
Well, thank you.
Even Cheerios.
You're very sweet. But, I think it just comes as a certain amount of determination. And through this COVID-19 pandemic, I'm living it too. And we have about 45 to 50 clients in our program that we get mobile every week in our program called Bridging Bionics. And we have 2 facilities in Colorado where we live. And we offer physical therapy and training sessions to all clients with neurological impairments or challenges like I have, and 2 or 3 times a week. And that's been taken away from us right
So now
now.
what's going to happen? Well, let's say this goes on for a month, another 2 months. What what will you be able to do, or what are you planning, or is there options, or what?
Well, at the moment, all of our clients are at home, right? So some of our physical therapists have helped provide and suggest exercises to do at home for our more mobile clients. But for someone like me, I can get on the physical therapy mat that I have right here, um, but I'm unable to weight bear. And when you're paralyzed, it really helps to have someone like a physical therapist to move your body for you and with you to help optimize your range of motion. And so, what we're doing is we've provided free counseling for our clients. It's a new program that we've called Redefining Transitions, Building Resiliency. And it's offering free counseling for our clients to help them get through this. But it's also something that we implemented before this pandemic and the outbreak, but now we're doing video counseling and small group counseling as well. Because I recognize, and I had to figure this out on my own, Marilyn, that when I was paralyzed, it was a mental game that I had to surmount and overcome on my own. I had to figure it out. And it took 5 years. It was a real pivotal moment where I had to have that breakdown moment in order to have the breakthrough. And and for our clients, we're providing that service. I think the body doesn't have a full chance of healing unless the mental is in place. And so, if we can get on top of the mental aspect and help people deal with fear, deal with loss of mobility is grief. And so, it's grieving the loss of being able to move your body as you did, and figuring out new ways of movement and how to navigate this life from a paralyzed stance, from a wheelchair. And so, that's what we're doing at the moment, is offering this service. We're really on lockdown. We can't, what our program does is we provide access to advanced technologies such as bionic exoskeleton suits, whole body vibration, all these advanced technologies that are found in the top rehabilitation centers in the world. We've bypassed the medical system, we put them in a health club. It's a completely charitable foundation where individuals get to move their bodies for next to nothing. We charge a $500 fee for the entire year, which is cheaper than a gym membership. And for about 40% of our clients, we provide complete scholarships. There's no cost at all. And because we've taken cost out of the equation, our clients are getting better. Neuro recovery is possible.
Yeah,
And
talk about that some. That's
yeah,
very fascinating.
so
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you, Dr. Bakia Rita, the founder of neuroplasticity, said all you have to do is stimulate the body and the brain will figure it out. And so, and to provide the brain information through stimulating the body. And so, even if you're paralyzed, you need to move. We're made for mobility. And so, what we do is we provide movement and access to all types of technology, combined technologies using whole body vibration with the Galileo whole body vibration technologies, which is side alternating vibration. It's how the body's designed to absorb vibration, and then that helps with it's a full bodily system workout. It helps with tone reduction and spasticity. It helps with blood circulation, bladder bowel regularity. As soon as I vibrated, my everything operates really efficiently in my body, and it stimulates all of the internal organs as well. But it helps me with weight bearing and to stand upright and bone density. All of these things are critical. So what we're doing is we're seeing a reduction in secondary complications associated with paralysis and a reduction in rehospitalizations. We're in the business of keeping people out of hospitals. And I'm just grateful that with our program, all of our clients went into this COVID-19 pandemic probably in the best healthy condition that they could be in because of our program. And now I've decided that we're going to use this forced 2 month or more lockdown um, as a case study of sorts to show the world the value of our program of having ongoing and regular physical therapy and using and accessing advanced technologies like bionic exoskeletons, where you're able to stand up, walk over ground with your joints biomechanically aligned as they should, and then you're getting that proprioceptive feedback. You're rewiring those neural pathways so that you have the opportunity to regain mobility and potentially to walk again on your own.
Wow.
That's a lot of information. So
Yeah, no, but that's a wow. I mean, and to be able to take this information now based on COVID-19 and to be able to use to document this is beyond extraordinary.
yes, I mean, this is a forced shutdown.
Absolutely.
And so we are going to use it in an advantageous way where when we start up our program, every client's going to have a new evaluation done. We're going to start with a new baseline and do an 8-week study and see where they are. I imagine because we had reevaluations before the program shut down. And so we do reevaluations every quarter. And so we'll take that information, we'll see loss of mobility, probably muscular atrophy, muscle contractions, joint contractures. Pray to God we don't have any, fractures or pressure sores, pressure wounds. When you sit, you begin to die. And that's why, and that's a very strong statement, but it's true. And so that's why we must keep our bodies moving. And that's my message to every viewer who's at home, is forced to be at home during this time, in that if you can figure out a daily workout regimen at home that you can do routinely to keep your bodies moving, I swear it's going to release endorphins in your body. It'll help you change your perspective. It'll lift your spirit, help you feel more hopeful and less fearful.
Right.
And so I think it's up to us, and we have to somehow self-motivate.
But well, no, yes, I mean, I have to keep moving too, and I'm used to working out and dancing, and I'm not thin, so I have to really focus. Yesterday, I was watching a video about online marketing, and I didn't want to just sit here in front of the video, so I got up and I was moving and dancing around while I was listening to it. And if there was something I wanted to write down, I paused the video, I paused my Fitbit, I wrote down the information, and I went back and started doing it. And I burned whatever hundreds of calories I burned while I was watching the video instead of just sitting here. And because there's a lot of things I want to do now.
Hmm.
Because I'm in doesn't mean I'm stuck.
Exactly, exactly. And it really is such a perfect analogy to feeling paralyzed. I
Right.
mean, I look at paralysis as a life sentence. It's not a death sentence. Thank God, it's not like, we have a disease or a degenerative progressive illness, but it is a life sentence.
Mhm.
And paralysis is, it's really difficult to deal with. People equate it to being imprisoned in your body, and but I haven't let that hold me back. And if I figured out that with this technology, and we can go back to being invited to test pilot this prototype exoskeleton, because I swear I dreamed about it. I had this vision, and it's the power of intentionality.
How long
And
ago did that start for you? How long ago did you
so
start
this
testing it?
was in 2010. In July, I was invited to be the first person in the world to test pilot this. And I did it, and I could see the world from a different perspective. I was 5'7" again. I could look at people eye to eye. I could have this delicious heart to heart hug. There's a distancing that happens when you embrace a person from a wheelchair. When you're standing up, it's heart to heart. And but then I could take a step, and I stepped with my feet and my knees bending and my weight over my foot, stepping in the most natural fluid gait. It was as though I had ankles and knees again. And I was upright, and I was doing it on my own independently. And there was something very liberating about that, in that I was um, to be able to, yes, so I always had a spotter behind me to make sure that I didn't fall, but I was doing it on my own. So I figured out how to raise enough money to buy my own. I put 130,000 steps on that robot around my parking lot. And then I
You
thought,
have
why
that
do I?
now, and you have that now.
Well, I did. It's now at the program, because I thought, why do I have to be the lucky girl that gets to walk in a robot? If I can do it, we could get an entire community up and walking. This is a device that it can be for someone who's 5 foot tall to 6'3". We've actually had someone 6'6" get in this particular device. And so it's adjustable this way and this way.
So let
And
me
so,
ask you some things about the device, and then I
yes.
want you to talk about fundraising. I don't want to
Oh,
forget that. I know that's very
okay.
important.
Yes.
So this device,
Mhm.
what does it kind of weigh?
So this particular device that I use is weighs anywhere from 45 to 50 pounds. But
Okay.
when it stands up, it's a robot. It's got artificial intelligence, a variable assist modality that will help you, and you can actually, it'll stand you up. You don't feel the weight of the device as it's standing you up, but it can actually, you can power down the device so that it will help you. It's rehabilitative. If it's someone who's had a stroke, the unaffected side gets to walk under its own natural power, and then the affected side that's had the stroke, the hemiplegic side, gets to walk under robotic assist. And so, and the artificial intelligence can gauge how much input the person's providing to help that person complete the step. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Okay.
somewhat. Yeah,
So,
somewhat. So go
and
ahead.
we have different devices in our program, and
That's what I
so
was going to
it's about options. It's kind of like you might choose to drive an Audi, and someone else might prefer a Toyota truck. I don't know, or a BMW. And so, but they're customized for each individual. And so we use an Indigo Exoskeleton from a company called Carcahanathan. We have, as part of an investigational study in our program, it's called a Kyogo dermoskeleton from Canada that is currently getting its FDA approval, and that's why we're using it under a special IRB protocol out of a university in California, and that's under investigational use in our program. We've got something else, a soft exoskeleton called the New Gate system. It's a harnessed wearable system, and then so we use all of those technologies in combination with other advanced technologies such as whole body vibration, lasers. There you go. So that picture of the exoskeleton that you're seeing, that's the Exo from Bionics, and it simulates. Imagine the internal skeleton of your body. It replicates that, in that it's got a frame that encompasses the outside of the body. On the back, it's got two batteries. It's got four motors at the hips and then at the knees. And then it's got a gyroscope in the back.
Okay,
It's
so
got,
if we
yeah.
okay, so if we don't talk, maybe it'll come up. I'm not. Can you get it to come up?
Oh
Full?
yeah, it's up. I see it.
It is up. Okay, I
Yeah,
don't see it.
and it's so Anand's on it, and he's got the image right there, and is showing the exoskeleton, and you can see I'm 5'7" there. I'm standing, and when I walk with crutches, so it's not a hands-free device yet. And as I take a step, it's got sensors. This particular exoskeleton has sensors in the feet, and so when I hit a forward target and a lateral target, it waits for me to shift my weight correctly before it takes another step. And
So
so,
where do you use that at at the gym, right? That's where you use it.
yes,
I mean, you don't wear it outside.
no, I
So what?
used to have it at home, but then I gifted it to the community.
Okay.
And these devices are $175,000 a piece. And so
Mhm.
they're not affordable. They're cost prohibitive for individuals to acquire on their
Mhm.
own. And that's why I chose to create Bridging Bionics so that everybody had access, whoever met the inclusion criteria for this device, so that everybody had access to these exoskeletons. The Indigo exoskeleton is in a modular design. It comes apart in actually 5 different pieces, and it only weighs 26 pounds. It's quite different. It doesn't have the backpack on it. And
Yeah.
so
So
there are different models, but it's also $175,000. I mean, that's crazy.
okay, so I have a couple of yeah, I have a
Yeah.
couple of questions. So number one, okay, so what have you noticed yourself at having used these equipments, these technologies? What have you noticed about your paralysis?
What I've noticed by having regular access to these technologies is that it's helping me maintain my bone density. We're prone to osteoporosis and to fractures, to breaking our bones, because we're sitting all the time and we're not weight bearing. So, weight bearing is really important. We need to align our joints as they should. And that's what the exoskeleton does. It puts you in perfect biomechanical alignment. And then when you walk in an exoskeleton, unlike a treadmill, you're walking over ground. And so what happens is, as you walk through space over ground, you think the world is going by you, and you're getting those visual cues, and so the proprioceptive feedback to help you
Mhm.
go through space, and so that you can rewire those neural pathways. And
Got it.
there's studies that have been done that just pure robotic assist alone, standing up in an exoskeleton and walking over ground is beneficial. And you're actually firing paralyzed muscles. They're working in their own way. And so, if you've got a little bit of muscle power there, we can use the variable assist modalities to help activate and
And Amanda, what about
muscles.
other
Yes.
people? What about other people in your community, like children or other? What have you noticed from other
Yes.
members of?
Well, we've noticed that we've provided probably about 100, and since the beginning inception of our program 4 years ago, we've helped about 125 individuals in our community to regain mobility. In some cases, they've regained the ability to walk again on their own, and they've actually walked. The goal is to get out of these devices, right? So it's these are tools to help regain mobility. For me, it's about maintaining my range of motion, my bone density,
Yeah,
my
you're terrific.
flexibility.
Yeah, you're terrific. I mean,
Thank
terrific.
you.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
but for some of our clients who are newly injured and they're in that acute window of neuro recovery, say anywhere from, up to 2 years after they've sustained an injury, they're in this amazing window where we don't know the possibilities. We've got a couple of clients in our program right now that every week we would see improvements. I can send you videos. If you go onto our Facebook page, you'll see videos. This particular guy his name's Mason, and he was paralyzed on March 9th a year ago. And when he came to us in our program, he couldn't stand on his own. Now he's able to stand fully weight bear on his own. And then he took his first step on his own. And now, then the week before we had to close our program down, the left leg fired, and he took 3 steps with the left leg unassisted. And we were just waiting, thinking, okay, next week we're going to see the right leg kick in. And then the program shut down, and it's like, oh,
Oh my God.
okay. And so, we're giving him tools and things to do. He's really motivated, and he's working in his garage at home, and we're keeping in touch with our clients the best that we can. But, we've got exciting things happening because our clients get to come 3-4
Sure.
times a week.
So is this the only, in Colorado where you are, is this the only center for what you do? Or
Yes.
do you have, okay. Are you looking to grow it, or
Yes.
what are you looking
It's
to do?
Well, at the moment, we're using this year to really refine what we're doing. The technology is really expensive. And because it's a charitably funded program, I raise money. I'm a fundraiser. And so I just constantly raise money so that our clients don't have to pay and they have access to this. And so we had a gala that was planned for July 5th, which we've canceled. And it just breaks my heart because it's our signature fundraising event for the year. We're trying to decide if we're going to postpone it or just cancel it until 2021 and then do something virtual. I'm not sure. But these are tough times. And so, we've got, it's a really unique program. It's the only program of its kind in the country and then in the world, in that we are providing free access to regular physical therapy that's ongoing. And we've got clients that have been in our program for 4 years, and they're still showing recovery. We're still getting results. And so we're in this proof of concept phase where we are doing studies through grants and with data collection to show the value of our program and what it is when you don't have to worry about cost. You think that these exoskeletons, they are cost prohibitive, and they're only found in the top rehabilitation centers in the nation and in the world. And unless you're an inpatient or you have an insurance policy where you can get maybe up to 8 weeks of physical therapy to use one of these devices in a top rehabilitation center, then it's taken away from you. You go back to your community and you have to figure out life on your own. how to maintain your range of motion, your flexibility, your standing. Um, and it's virtually impossible. And that's why I created Bridging Bionics, so that I believe exercise is medicine, but also it's our human right to have access to healing therapies and advanced technologies. If they're out there, they should be used.
Right. By people, by regular
Yes,
people, right?
by regular people. I mean, it's something that I thought, oh my gosh, this is helping me with my quality of life. When I walk, I feel so much better. It's like I've lifted a veil from my head. I can think more clearly. You think of what happens to you after you've danced around your living room and you've got those endorphins going and you feel vibrant and alive. Well, that's how I feel after I've walked. And so it should be accessible and available. And that's why I'm motivated and compelled to keep raising the money. If I can create a satellite program elsewhere, I'll do it. But it's contingent on
Right.
fundraising capabilities.
So tell everybody, I know we know that you were a CNN top hero for 2018, of course. So tell everybody what you need. Money, what do you need, and where do they go, and how do they do it, and that kind of stuff.
Yes, if you go on to, if anybody is inspired to contribute to our program for sustainability during these hard times, we're in the business of giving the gift of mobility. And there's nothing more beautiful than giving the gift of mobility, because you can feel good about yourself. And so rather than giving money, we give money to give the gift of mobility. And to go on to bridgingbionics.org, bridging like a bridge across a river, Bridging Bionics, plural, BIONICS.org. And you'll be able to donate there to contribute to giving the gift of mobility to sustain our program and keep our population and our community up and walking again. And those funds will go directly into our clients. $75 is the cost of the direct take-home cost for each physical therapist per hour. And so that's what they get paid per hour. We're very transparent. We're accountable to the world. So if you want to, if $150 will gift 2 mobility sessions for a client. Let me see, $7,200 will gift 1 year of mobility sessions at 2 sessions a week. So if we break it down in those terms, that will give you give your audience something to tangible to relate to.
Mhm. Perfect. Yeah, it's extraordinary. I mean, of course, when you're not involved in it on a regular basis, you have no idea. So I appreciate
No.
you really don't. And there are things that you've said, that you take for granted every day. We take that, and
Mhm.
this is a time when our taking things for granted are knocking us in the head, right?
Exactly. And I'm in a wheelchair, and I don't think woe is me. I'm very grateful actually for my life. I have no excuses, and I'm a really happy person. But we're not meant to walk with our arms. I'm I've got some guns on me, but that's from 28 years of paralysis. We're meant to walk on our legs. We're meant to be mobile. And I encourage every one of your viewers to somehow keep mobile in your darkest hour. It's up to you and you only. Destiny waits for no woman and no man. It's up to you to find the motivation to somehow um, get out of your seat and to move your bodies, to be mobile, to be the bridge. And to your body will thank you. And I know that together we will get through this.
Mhm. No question. So I just want to remind everybody, in these final moments, if you have a question, a comment, whatever you like, and you want to talk to Amanda, you want to talk to me, 919-518-9773, or you're welcome to join us in the chat and ask questions in there as well. Just put your your name under the video, or you can come in on Skype still, Skype voice, not a picture. So that would be computers 2, the number 2, K voice. and come in here and ask your question. Um, and we'd love to be able to assist you in any way that we can. And then do you have my books handy?
Your book?
Books.
Books? No, I
Yes.
don't. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, Marilyn.
Yeah. So I am writing books, and my books are a series in just one afternoon, listening into the hearts of. So the first one was men. The next one was twins and millennials. Now it's people impacted by opioid addiction. And then after that is Black fathers and families that have lost a child. And I go on from there. So these are engaging stories. And when you turn on your listening, there are things that we hear that we don't hear normally. And you hear people, and you hear it's a bridge to understanding and recognizing who we are and our humanity. And these are very important stories. And people open up with their hearts. So they're all available on Amazon, and love you to check them out. So Amanda, your story is phenomenal. Your light is phenomenal. The way you have you're a wonderful representation of the work that you're doing, and the benefit, because you show it, you've seen it. You're a terrific role model. So, yeah, what were we going to say?
Thank you. And a role model, ROLL, and a
That's a good one.
ROLE.
Yeah, both.
But you know what? I didn't choose this, Marilyn, and who knows why? And I've asked myself, why me? For many, many years, and it's not up to me. I feel like I was put in this wheelchair and in this predicament for a reason. And if I can give back to humanity, if I can, through my speaking and through sharing with others, when you have an idea, it grows when it's shared. And if through sharing we come together and we build community. And so if I can just bring my light and infuse that into the world so that others can be more hopeful, then
So,
that's.
and you do that very well. I mean, skiing down the mountain, black diamonds, double black diamonds. Oh, and you drive and everything. Do you
Yes,
drive also, like a car?
I drive, and it's my freedom. Thank goodness. I just went out in Colorado yesterday, and I have a mini tank that is called an action track chair. And so I went on this trail, social distancing with my best friend and my dog. And I got out into the wilderness. And so I figured out different forms of mobility other than the exoskeleton. I have a hand cycle, I cross country ski, which I just use with my arms, and it's a full cardio workout. And so I do whatever I can, whatever you do as an able bodied woman, I do in my wheelchair. I'm just doing it a little differently.
So anybody can do about anything.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
anybody can
we
do it.
can with the gift of technology. In this day and age, I'm very grateful to be paralyzed in this day and age where I have access to amazing technologies. And the fact that I live in this community that's been very giving and supportive of my endeavors, and to live in the United States. There are, individuals with the CNN Heroes honor, I was contacted by people from all over the world, from third world countries, where they don't have access to this technology. And they were begging me, pleading me, please, Amanda, can I come? I will relocate. I will do anything I can to come be in your program. Give me a chance. And I had to say no. And that breaks my heart. This technology needs to be
You have to say
accessible and
why.
affordable.
Why do you have to say no? If they have the money, can they come, or they can't? Or
I
are you
don't.
limited with how many people you can work
We're
with?
limited. We're at capacity. I have 4 physical therapists,
Uh,
2 trainers. We're working 5 days a week, 9 to 5, in 2 different facilities. And we're limited with the technology as well. I mean, at $175,000 a pop for these exoskeletons, and then to pay the PTs and to keep the program going. So until I can replicate it, then yeah, I have to turn people. I've had to turn so many people around down, and it breaks my heart. There's a need.
Okay, everybody, are you listening? Everybody from home, everybody, no matter where you are, I know we're all kind of locked down together. This is something, we're home. Sometimes can't do the things you want to do, but this is something you can do.
Exactly.
We're always looking, this is something you can do today. So please go to bridgingbionics.org
Mhm.
and just give whatever you can, because this does make a difference. And and we're going to pray that, I think about all these people that are locked down, and I never thought of, people who are in a wheelchair,
Mhm.
who are locked down and can't have their exercise.
Well,
That's
and
really tough.
lockdown is so, in a weird way, so similar to paralysis. And
It really is.
being locked down, we're stifled, where it's forced uh, to, but
Yeah,
we can take it upon ourselves, turn it around, um,
we can.
and think of it right here, right now, in this moment, and that whatever we do today prepares us for the person we will be tomorrow. And when we get through this together, and the hardships and the grief and the challenges around this, we're going to come through it. And
Yes, we are.
it's think of it as an awakening of sorts, an awakening of
Honey, I don't have to think.
yeah.
Yes, I'm
Mhm,
not. It is an awakening.
mhm.
There is no question. It is an awakening. And one thing I will say, which besides the fact how much I love you,
Oh,
um, this time is causing many of us, all of us, whoever take
mhm.
it on, to be mindful of the things you're not normally mindful of. No
Yes.
different than putting myself in your shoes or in that chair, being mindful of, not being able to use a part of my body that I used, and then at the same time remembering what it felt like to be able to use that again. So for all of you that are home, you know, being mindful and remembering one day you're going to be going out and driving that car to the mall again, and all of those things that we are not in touch with now, we will be once again. That's how Amanda can feel when she's walking.
Yes, and it's thank you so much. And it's a time for self-care.
Right?
This is we can get so paralyzed in our
We
minds,
sure can.
and
So,
this is a time to uh, turn that around, and
yes,
to really love ourselves and love one another. And I really thank you, and
my
I
pleasure.
send my love to
Me
you, and
too.
for all that you do for the world and for your listeners. So
Thank
it's
you.
such a pleasure and an honor
Thank
and a
you.
privilege.
Thank you so much for gracing us today, Amanda. You're lovely. And oh my God, I'm going to be thinking about you all day. So, everybody out there, thank you so
Mm.
much for being here. It's been an honor to spend this time with you. Thank you for taking the time to spend it with Amanda and me, and I'm not somewhere down in the corner. We love you. Let's just do our best at whatever we're doing now.
Mhm.
Let's just do our best. That's it. Just do your best. And with that,
Mhm.
bye, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.